Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I know, right?
Welcome to today's story from AITA, where I'm going to share a tough decision I made about my boyfriend and an evil prank that changed everything. At first, we were happy, really happy. We'd been dating for 7 months, and things seemed to be going great. He was funny, caring, and I genuinely enjoyed spending time with him. I never thought something like this would come between us, but lately, I started to notice little things that didn't quite add up. He was secretive about his phone, especially when he was scrolling or texting. I brushed it off at first, thinking maybe he just valued his privacy. Still, something felt off. Like there was something he wasn't telling me. That feeling grew stronger when one day, I stumbled across something that shocked me, something that changed how I saw him. It was a side of him I had no idea existed, and it wasn't just a harmless hobby. It was a secret prank life. And not just any prank, some of them cruel, mean-spirited, and even dangerous. I'm going to tell you what happened, how it made me feel, and why I ended up deciding to dump him over this. This is the story of when a prank went way too far. We met at a friend's party. I was immediately drawn to his easygoing attitude and sense of humor. He was 19 and I was 21. From the start, he was fun to be around, always making jokes and lightening the mood. He seemed like the kind of guy who didn't take life too seriously, which I liked. As the months went by, we got closer. We spent weekends together watching movies, going out for food, and just hanging out. He had this playful side that made me smile, but he also had a serious, caring side when it mattered. I thought we had a good balance. One thing I didn't know much about was his TikTok account. He mentioned it a couple of times but never really talked about what he posted. I assumed it was just casual videos, maybe some funny clips with friends. I didn't ask much because he didn't bring it up, and honestly, I didn't think it was a big deal. What I did notice though was that sometimes he would disappear for hours to work on videos. I thought it was his hobby or maybe a side hustle, and I supported him. But I had no idea those videos were prank videos, and not the light-hearted kind. They were mean pranks, harassing strangers in public and capturing their reactions on camera. Looking back, I wish I had asked more questions or noticed the red flags. But at the time, I was just happy and trusting. I thought we were building something real and honest. Little did I know that trust was about to be broken in a way I never expected. The truth came out completely by accident. One evening, I was using his phone to look something up when I noticed a TikTok app open with notifications. Curious, I opened the app and saw videos titled things like scaring strangers, public freakouts, and best prank reactions. My heart sank when I realized they were his videos. I clicked on one, and there he was, laughing and filming people being harassed by his pranks. Some people looked angry, scared, or confused. I felt sick to my stomach. Why had he never told me about this? Why would he hide it? At first I thought maybe it was harmless fun, like prank shows on TV. But the more I watched, the more I realized these pranks were mean. They weren't just silly jokes. They were designed to embarrass and what's at people. It made me question who he really was. That night I tried to bring it up with him gently. I said, "Hey, I saw your TikTok videos. Why didn't you tell me about them?" He laughed it off and said it was just for fun, that he wasn't hurting anyone. But I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just fun, it was cruel, and it made me uncomfortable. I told him I didn't like the idea of him filming people without their permission and causing them distress. He shrugged and said I was overreacting. I wanted to believe it was just a phase or something he did without thinking, but deep down, I knew this was a problem. That was when I started to worry about what else he might be hiding and what that meant for us. In the weeks leading up to the prank, I noticed my boyfriend acting a little secretive. He was spending more time on his phone and sometimes disappearing into the bathroom or his room for long stretches. I didn't think much of it, assuming he was working on one of his videos or just scrolling through social media one day. He casually mentioned that he had a new prank idea but didn't share any details. I was curious but didn't press him. I should have been more suspicious. What I didn't know was that he was preparing a prank specifically targeting me, the person closest to him. The prank was simple but cruel. He bought a large fake spider, realistic enough to terrify anyone. I have a deep, intense fear of spiders, so much so that even the thought of them gives me panic attacks. I always told him about it, and he seemed to respect that fair until now. The plan was to place the fake spider in the toilet, so when I went to use it, I would be completely caught off guard. To make it worse, he hid cameras in the bathroom without telling me. These cameras recorded my reaction so he could post it online for his thousands of followers. I felt uneasy as the day approached but tried to ignore it, thinking maybe he wouldn't go through with it. I was wrong. When I finally realized what was going on, it hit me hard. This wasn't a harmless joke, it was a betrayal of trust. The thought that he would exploit my fear for laughs online made me feel small and hurt in a way I hadn't expected from someone I loved. I wanted to believe he cared about me and would never do anything to hurt me, but the setup showed otherwise. The prank was ready, and there was no way to stop it. The morning of the prank started like any other day. I got up, went to the bathroom to get ready, completely unaware of what was waiting for me. I didn't suspect anything. He acted normal, even affectionate, like nothing was wrong. When I lifted the toilet lid, my heart stopped. There it was, the fake spider, large and terrifyingly realistic, sitting right where I would expect water. The shock was immediate. I screamed and jumped back, panic flooding through me like a wave. In me panic, I slipped on the bathroom floor, losing my balance. I landed awkwardly, twisting my ankle painfully. Tears streamed down my face, not just from the fear, but from the sharp pain and the overwhelming betrayal. I felt humiliated and scared all at once. Meanwhile, my boyfriend was standing nearby, holding his phone and laughing. He was filming everything, clearly enjoying my reaction. His laughter was cold and distant, like he didn't see how much he had hurt me. I tried to explain through my panic and pain how serious my fear was, how much the prank had hurt me both physically and emotionally. But he just kept laughing and teasing, making it worse. After a few minutes, he finally helped me up and took me to the clinic. The doctor confirmed that my ankle was sprained, and I would need some time to heal. As I sat there, I felt numb. This wasn't the relationship I had imagined. Later, I found out he had posted the video online despite my pleas not to. That was the last straw. I realized then that he didn't respect me or care about my feelings. The prank was supposed to be funny, but it destroyed the trust between us. I knew I couldn't stay with someone who would hurt me like that, not once, but twice. The prank itself and then sharing it with the world. After the prank and the injury, my mind was a whirlwind of emotions, hurt, betrayal, confusion. I kept replaying the moment over and over, wondering how someone I trusted so deeply could find amusement in my fear and pain. It wasn't just about the prank. It was about what it revealed, that he didn't respect my boundaries or care about my feelings. I confronted him several times, trying to explain how deeply wrong this was. Each time I hoped he would understand and show some remorse. Instead, he brushed it off like it was no big deal. He told me I was overreacting and that it was just a joke. Hearing those words felt like a punch to the gut. How could he be so insensitive? I felt invisible, like my pain didn't matter at all. Our conversations became more heated, with me trying to express my hurt and him dismissing it. I noticed a sharp divide growing between us. The boyfriend I thought I knew was disappearing, behind a mask of laughter and indifference. The trust we built started to crumble fast. I felt trapped between wanting to forgive him because I cared and wanting to protect myself from more pain. Every interaction made me question whether this relationship was healthy or if I was just clinging to a fantasy. The laughter that once brought joy now felt like mockery. This prank wasn't just a silly video to him. It was a boundary crossed without respect or consideration. It made me realize that our relationship was imbalanced, with my feelings sidelined, for the sake of his social media fame. The emotional weight of the prank and the public humiliation it caused left me exhausted. I was angry but also deeply sad. I knew something had to change, but I didn't yet know what that would look like when I finally opened up to my closest family and friends about the prank and what had happened. Their reactions were mixed. Some immediately understood my pain and offered heartfelt support. They reassured me that my feelings were valid and that no one should be made to feel scared or humiliated in their own home. Others, however, thought I might be overreacting. They said things like, "It was just a prank," or "You need to lighten up, and it's not that serious." Those comments hurt just as much as the prank itself because they made me question myself. Was I really making a big deal out of nothing? I struggled with their opinions. Part of me wanted to believe maybe I was being too sensitive, but the other part of me knew my fear was real, and the way he treated me afterward was wrong. My best friend told me that it's okay to set boundaries and expect respect in a relationship. She reminded me that true partners don't make their loved ones feel small for the sake of a joke. That stuck with me and gave me some clarity. Talking to my family helped me feel less alone. They saw the hurt in my eyes and understood why I was upset. My mom told me that anyone who doesn't respect my feelings isn't worth my time. Despite the mixed reactions, I began to realize that my feelings mattered most. It wasn't about what others thought. It was about what I needed to feel safe and loved. Their support strengthened my resolve to decide what was best for me and whether I could rebuild trust or needed to walk away. After days of wrestling with my thoughts, I knew I had to make a choice. The prank wasn't just a one-time mistake, it revealed deeper issues. My trust was broken, and I felt like I was no longer safe in this relationship. I kept asking myself if I could forgive him and rebuild what we had, but every memory of that day made me realize I couldn't ignore how badly he hurt me. I decided it was time to end things. I needed to prioritize my well-being over someone who didn't respect my feelings. When I told him, I tried to be clear and calm. I explained why I couldn't stay. That trust had been shattered and that laughing at my fears wasn't something I could accept. His reaction surprised me. Instead of understanding, he denied how serious it was. He begged me not to leave, promising he would change, that he didn't mean to hurt me, but I could see through the words. Promises like that had been made before in smaller ways, and nothing really changed. I stood my ground. I told him that wanting to stay in a relationship means respecting each other, not making videos at my expense. I set clear boundaries. He had 2 weeks to pack his things and leave. I wasn't willing to negotiate anymore. The breakup was painful but necessary. It felt like a weight was lifting even as my heart ached. I realized that love shouldn't hurt this way, and sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do. Though I was scared of what came next, I knew I deserved better, someone who values and respects me fully. In the weeks after the breakup, I focused on healing both physically and emotionally. My ankles slowly got better, but it was the emotional wounds that took longer to mend. I learned that boundaries are not just rules but essential to feeling safe and respected. This experience taught me that love isn't about tolerating pain or humiliation, even if it comes disguised as a joke. True respect means valuing the other person's feelings and fears. If someone dismisses those, it's a red flag that shouldn't be ignored. I reflected on how important communication and honesty are in relationships. My boyfriend's choice to keep his social media life a secret and prank me without consent shattered trust I once took for granted. Looking ahead, I'm more cautious but also hopeful. I understand now that setting limits early on protects me from future hurt. I've grown stronger and more aware of what I deserve. Most importantly, I learned that it's okay to prioritize myself and walk away when a relationship no longer feels safe or healthy. Healing isn't linear, but every day I feel more confident in my decisions. Though it was a painful chapter, it gave me clarity and a new sense of self-worth. I'm ready to build healthier, more respectful relationships in the future. So, to sum it all up, I was in a relationship with my boyfriend for 7 months, and everything seemed fine until I found out he secretly runs a TikTok prank channel. The prank, where he put a fake spider in the toilet, triggered my extreme fear, causing me to panic and even injure myself. He filmed the whole thing without telling me and then posted the video online despite my clear objections. When I confronted him, he laughed it off and didn't take my feelings seriously, which broke my trust completely. I talked to my family and friends about what happened, and while some thought I was overreacting, others understood why I was so upset. In the end, I made the decision to break up with him, telling him to pack his things and leave. He begged me to stay, promising to change. But I stood firm because I realized respect and trust are non-negotiable for me now. I want to hear what you think. Was I wrong to end things over this prank, or was I right to protect myself and my boundaries? Am I the asshole? Please share your honest opinions and advice. I really need the community's judgment on this.